Hello everybody, welcome to a live stream. Hello everybody, yeah, and I've got the playback over here just to monitor things. It has been quite a while since the last live stream period, but it has also been quite a while since the last Trainz live stream. So, as you can see, we're here in TRS 22. Yes, I'm live. Hello. Yes, hello Albastro 916, Kangfango, VGR. Hello everybody. Yeah, so as you can see, Surveyor 2.0 because it's TRS 22 and new computer, and it's quite smooth, which I'm quite happy about. So this is the third rail network. You can see sort of the stuff that I've already built. Some of it needs to be touched up. It's still, of course, very much work in progress. And it's also a bit different than the map that we started making together, because it was too rigid for what this project needs, given the time frame and the stuff like that. But I'm still taking inspiration from that and stuff. So, yeah. The face cam does almost align with the list on the right. You're right. And yes, I have tricked you, starting soon instead of offline. Feels very strange seeing you again after such long absence, but I very much missed it. Aww. I'm sure if I heard your voice, it would sound strange as well. You can take that as a compliment if what you said was a compliment too. Schedule says Sunday's train stream, 9 till 11 a.m. Well, it was originally till 12. I need to change that to p.m. I thought I changed it to p.m. I guess I didn't save it before I exported. Okay, so I thought for the first part of this stream, by the way, you need to let me know if my voice is too loud or too quiet, because I haven't tested that in relation to the game's volume yet. So, I thought for the first part of the stream, I could show you around what I've already built. And then for the second part of the stream, we could get some building done. So, yeah, a compliment. Not strange as in you suddenly sound Martian, but strange as in, wow, it's been a hot minute. Yeah. Okay, so by the way, this is the first map that I've made in TRS 22, and the first time that I've really used any of the Surveyor 2.0 features. So this is the first baseball where I started. And bear in mind, this is all very much work in progress. Like, for example, the exact placement of the third rail splines isn't in its final state. I've got no AWS stuff. Signaling is pretty much non-existent in most areas of the route. Stations are still pretty much undecorated, work in progress. So yeah, just take it for what it is at the moment. So yeah, this is where I started. And I experimented with a few textures and with some assets and how the scrapbook works over here. This area will need to be reworked. Over here, actually, hold on, I'll set this. AWS, Advanced Warning System, yes. Oh, it's been a hot minute. Why do you suddenly sound Martian? Well, is me or does Paradise sound a little different? I don't think that I sound different unless I sound like Martian. So yeah, then I kind of built this little station here as a test, because I wanted to see what it would be like to build a station with the Surveyor 2.0 and put stuff on here and basically as a test. But then it turned out so nice that I'm probably gonna keep the station like this. Well, maybe with some added details like benches and things, but yeah. So I found some signs, like for example here, the danger, do not touch the live rail. I found that on the DLS, which I'm really happy about. And yeah, stop markers, and this doesn't continue yet. It'll connect up here. So Yeah, because one of the ideas behind this route is that it's supposed to be a network where different lines connect to each other in different directions and all sorts of stuff. You're using a different mic, right? No, I'm using the same microphone. Is it? Hold on, let me quickly check something. Nope. What's enable down mixing? Is that it? Do I sound different now? Do I sound like I usually do? Is this the same? Is it any different? Or I don't know what that means. Don't know what's going on with that. Right. Same mic, yep. I thought you said it was different. No, the microphone is the same. But it may be at a slightly different position as it's now pointing to a different computer. Well, this is where I always had it when I was streaming from my computer. I mean, I can put it right in front of me like this, but then as I'm speaking, certain sounds, like when I say p or t, is going to maybe peak a bit or is going to be a bit louder than it usually is, because I found smoother results if I've got it over to the side a little bit. Down mixing is on. Let's see. That sounds slightly different. Not sure. Wow, it's great to finally be back home, especially after the debacle that happened on Penacony. Okay. Oh, hello, Hans. Welcome. It's good to have you in chat. You are just on the left here now. Oh, still? It's only... Is the... Hold on, I'll just enable it. 1 second. It's only... Is the... Hold on, I'll just enable it. 1 second. It's only... This sounds fine. Hold on, I'm listening back to the stream now, and it sounds fine to me. It's only... Don't know what that's about. Anyway, right. So then I built over here, just to get a sense for what kind of scenery style I wanted and asset palette and stuff like that. You live and breathe. Hello, welcome. So... Okay, so apparently it's good. Great, thanks. So, built this. This station, very much still work in progress. This all is still subject to change. This is the first town I kind of built. I experimented with the, what's it called? The scrapbook here a bit. So the town is actually just this bit here that I've kind of drawn onto the terrain with the scrapbook, because if you look at it from down here, it's not really that noticeable. Now, yes, you can see that it's kind of on a grid, and I might change this up a little bit so that you can't really notice anymore, at least for when it's close by, but this is a massive time save. Same thing for the hedges, by the way. And those are just drawn on with a scrapbook tool. Right, so then this line continues on, goes through the countryside a bit, has a little crossing, and kind of comes down here over the bridge into the tunnel, and then on the other side comes out of the tunnel, as you might have already guessed, and then kind of goes around here into the town, where this station up here was kind of inspired by Swanley Station, because I think that that's quite a nice station and it fits here. It's of course not the same, but I had that in mind as I was building this. So you've got an old goods platform there, and yeah, you've got the town. And I also tried adding some smaller details here and there, like for example, a little zebra crossing and stuff like that. By the way, yeah, this also doesn't have any benches or anything like that yet. So this is where the line is 4-tracked, and this is getting into the heart of kind of the main city, which is, of course, inspired by London. But yeah, so it comes around here, and, gets a little hilly, and this is where the scenery kind of stops on this side. Got a little station here. This is for the commuter trains. The kind of express trains go through on the other 2 tracks. And just to give you a bit of a point of reference, that's where we are on the map. So we had a look at this stretch over on that side. And the 2 terminuses that I've currently got planned, one of them is here, the other one's up there. So that kind of gives you a bit of a reference. Now let's just quickly follow this back the way we came to, by the way, the station that's inspired by Swanley, I've called it Duckley. I wonder if you can guess why that is. Right, so here we are back at Duckley, and this is the other line. So the line to the right is the slower speed one with kind of average speed limit of 60 miles per hour. This one's the faster one with an average speed limit of about 80 miles per hour. So, yep, with a little Royal Mail platform here, not quite finished yet. So this kind of goes up on this embankment to then go over this large viaduct across the little floodplain by the river. I'll rechat in a bit once I finish showing you this. Right, and there are loads of Easter eggs on this map already. Those you'll have a lot of fun finding those, I'm sure. And so then come over here, and then it kind of turns right onto, well, goes past this derelict signal box, and then turns into the woodland, where it starts climbing the hill. And this isn't a continuous grade, there's a bit of variance in it, just to mix things up a bit. You're back from Slovakia? Hello, Bronoob. I'm glad you're back from Slovakia. I had no idea that you were in Slovakia, unless you're somebody that I'm not connecting the profile name with. Hello. So, oh, you're from Slovakia. For some reason I read that back from Slovakia. Sorry. Hello, welcome. This will be archived on YouTube, by the way. So, then, now we're on the top of the incline, not the hill, because the hill top is all the way over here, but top of the incline, and we've got a crossover station here. So you've got the bottom 2 platforms there, with kind of a walkway that goes up to the other 2 platforms, and this took heavy inspiration from a station on the London Overground network. I think it was, I forget what it was called now, but it was where the one overground line crossed the other one. Right, so this then goes up to the other 2 platforms, which they're definitely going to have third rail going down that way, which is going to eventually lead back to the main city, because this kind of goes around that loop and connects over to the terminus there, like that. But the other side of this, the single track line, I'm not sure if I want to have this electrified or not. I haven't decided that yet. But this line is going to kind of hug the hillside. I've temporarily laid the track like this. This is still subject to change, of course. I'm gonna put in a viaduct here, and then this line is going to connect back up to this little station that I showed you before. Now I'm still kind of debating whether or not I want this to be electrified, because this bit I have already kind of electrified, but it would be nice to have this as kind of a loop, so that if trains come from down here, they could have a shortcut to cut down onto this line. Although then I suppose they could just go that way. Well, maybe having a train that could go up and then up this way. Anyway, there's still lots of stuff I need to think about. I haven't really touched this line yet. Right, so then if you continue straight on downhill that way, you're going to get to the seaside and what's going to be the kind of big harbour port town over there. But for now, let's get back over to this, which is, again, the first baseboard that I built, where I just kind of tested out some stuff. And then, don't worry, I'm going to get to chat messages in a bit. And then this line will continue down there. And this is the slower main line, the 60 mile per hour one, which connects over to Oscombe, which is a little seaside town. So I've already shared some screenshots of this on Discord a while back. So yeah, it comes through this cutting here with the other line that'll run along the coast, because the line that goes along here is going to be a coastal line as well, mostly anyway. So comes in here, you've got the nice platforms that are totally not prone to flooding whatsoever. And yeah, this just kind of, I've also decided to use a different track with a more reddish ballast down here, because of course the red sand, it just makes sense. So yeah, this line then comes out here onto a little embankment. This kind of leaves the town, which I'm still really happy with how this area turned out. So this then continues along here. Sort of along the seaside, and I've tried to, for this whole route, I've had a line of sight and point of view in mind. So that includes things like, it's small little story time, which is small little story time TM. So back when I first started making stuff in Trainz, I pretty much always used to have a coastal line, because I really like coastal lines, but I pretty much always just had the line either running down by the beach or up on top of some cliffs along the coast. And while it had great views, it did become boring relatively quickly, because if you're going along the coast, then you can already see for miles where you're going to go, and there's nothing new to see as you're going. So with this, I've deliberately tried to do more line of sight stuff. Like, for example, here, as you come out, so imagine that you're coming from the countryside from up here, coming down this way, you've not seen the coast yet, going through here, which is very restricted, of course, with the retaining walls, and then you come out here through this portal, and then you've got the coast right there, you've got a beach. But you don't see the whole coastline yet. You've still got this kind of, what's called a land head? No. You know what I mean anyway, where the land comes out. And then comes through here, through another bridge, and then you've still got the hill there. We can see a little bit of countryside as you come out, then you're greeted with the whole view of the coastline. But instead of just following the shore directly, as you continue along here, you briefly leave the shore, because you're cutting through between this little hill on the left. Cutting through here, still climbing, and you've lost sight of the ocean. So then, not peninsula, I don't mean peninsula. So then as you're coming to the top of this little grade, the ocean's revealed to you again on top of a bridge. So then you've got this great view of the ocean from a bit higher up, and you can have a great view if you look either way, because, well, you're on a bridge. So then you join back up, and this is a bit where it does continue along the shoreline for a little while. However, it's in a curve that turns land inward, which means that as you're going around the curve, you're constantly having new things revealed to you as you're progressing. So continue along here, and then you've left the shore again, heading further into the countryside, but you're still a fair ways up from, well, I almost said ground zero, I meant ground height 0, sea level. Then you come onto another viaduct, which reveals this little village down here that you can have a look at as you cross the viaduct, which of course you didn't see before. From here it just looks like countryside. So then you cross this, you've got the views there. And then a little disused goods platform on the side for added history. The third rail stuff here isn't finished yet. So yeah, then you come through here, and then the sea is revealed to you once again as you come around this curve. So then you can have a look at the countryside over there if you like. And because you're in a curve, you're constantly seeing more things. And then you'll have the town at the end of the peninsula down there, where if you look at the map view, the terrain will kind of come out here like that, I'm guessing. And that's where the town will be, where the line terminates. So I'm just quickly going to show you this little section coming back the other way, because it's important to have a look at points of view and stuff like that in both directions, not just in one direction. So yeah, you've got this over here. So you've just come from the town, from the terminus, and you're heading out on your journey, turning into this little valley. And then again, as you turn the corner, the little village is revealed. You cross the bridge, see the ocean right there behind the yellow field. Come out onto here. As you're turning here, you'll see the other town on the hill just there, which you then cross over the bridge again here, where the speed limit actually slows down, so the speed limit lowers, so you've also got a bit of gameplay stuff to do. And then you've got this downhill grade that just slowly leads you back into Oscom. So then you come into here, and then you can go where you need to go. So I'm gonna give you a nice camera position. That seems fine. Hold on, actually I need to, 1 second, I need to change to this camera mode, and 1 second, can't change the field of view in that mode. Need to do that first. And then I need to go into the other edit mode, and then I need to press, okay, 1 second. I'm just gonna go back a little bit more. Actually, you know what? No, this field of view was better anyway. So I'm just gonna give you a nice little view, sort of like that. Okay, now it's time to read the chat. Oh wow, there's a lot of chat. Okay, right. It might change. I might change this up a little bit so that it looks a bit less, well, American. What is that? What was that in reference to? Sorry. Yeah, see, there's the issue if you don't read chat for ages. But what was that in reference to again? Does Swanley also have an old goods platform? I have no idea. I don't think so. But the Swanley is, because the Chatham mainline is my favorite route for Train Simulator, and the Swanley is the bit where you've kind of got the 4-track mainline coming down from London, and that's where it really transitions from that to the countryside, 2-track mainlines. And so that transition point is quite nice. So where's this place based off? Well, it's a fictional route in Britain, and a lot of it, so this what we're currently here, seeing by the coast, is based off Dorset and Devon and maybe a bit of Cornwall as well, who knows. The more city type areas is based around London and that network, but different areas might be based on different bits. For large projects, it's a massive time save, but for smaller scale, more detailed style I build, for more detailed style I build, I don't like using scrapbook that much. Yeah, it depends on the specific use case. Oh, you were talking about the towns, yeah. And I like using the scrapbook for the further away bits to build up the mass of the town, but then for the stuff that you're actually going to be seeing more directly or more close up, I do make it by hand. Loosely inspired by the Chatham mainline. Some bits, yes. Game definitely seems to run much smoother now. Yeah, and I've got the settings turned up really high as well. I've got the parallax text, the PBR textures, I've got the fancy shaders, I've got the high shadows, I've got the long render distance, and I mean the fans aren't even on, just mildly warm. I'm really happy about that. Right. As well, Steven, Dorset, Great London, yeah. Because you have a friend named Lee who bribed you? Oh, friend Lee. Exchange. Clara is still in exchange over in the UK. She's with Catherine at the manor. I see. That's the only reason that comes to mind for me. Right. Lee, you're gonna name a town after me, see? You're gonna name it after me, and you're gonna make it a major passenger interchange, see? If you don't, it's curtains, see? Yeah. There was a character who always said see. Can't remember what character that was. Fine textile ones, too. Would be nice to have an unelectrified section. It would be, and I have considered what shape that might take. But the thing is, pretty much all of the lines that have currently got planned out already are important for different passenger services that I want. So having that little line by the hills be unelectrified would be quite nice for that in terms of scenery and in terms of having a change. But then it would mean that I couldn't have the regular services using that line to cut across, unless I had some regular services that aren't the thoroughly electric ones. But yeah, I've also had an idea of maybe having a little like preserved railway section that's unelectrified, like for a steamer or something, that maybe connects one station to another. There's like a little shortcut that's kind of very tight curves winding through the countryside, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, but what would run on that? You could make a scenario where you tow a train there with a diesel for some event. Good point. Small DMU or railcar, I'd say. That's a nice idea. I like the seaside station. Thanks, I like it too. Maybe a BR Class 153 railcar, perhaps? Timothy, retaining walls. Peninsula. No, not peninsula. Something head. There's a word for that. If there's like a land that kind of sticks out a bit into the ocean. Something head. I can't remember what it was. Honestly, I can just imagine GWR broad gauge running along 150 years ago. Yeah. You plan on having local haul passenger or freight stuff on the route as well? Local hauled passenger, perhaps. Like, it would be fun to have like a sleeper train that goes from one end of the map to the other end of the map, or that goes a bit of a longer roundabout way to pick up people from different stations, like to loop around to get to different places. In terms of freight, I was considering it. It just depends on how much time I have, because if the project takes a bit shorter than expected, then maybe, but I don't know yet. British Train go woo woo. Yes, hopefully, if I do add steamers. Local passenger trains are quite rattling, but for freight, that'd be great. Yeah. That said, for player controlled trains regarding freight. Then in Scotland, locos like the BR Class 68 are used for passenger duties too. Interesting. Do you plan on adding in more shrubbery between Oscombe and that first viaduct? I don't know. Maybe. Hello, Slovak Eagle. Ning. Evening to you too. Very lovely landscape. Mr. Elisa was right in recommending this channel for nice landscapes. Ah, thanks. The grid road. Oh, right, yeah. Totally know what places you're saying. Well, sort of the southwest of England is kind of Devon, Dorset, Cornwall. Sure, just went into detail on the routes at the time planned. Bases, reference pictures, initial announcement. Fenhimley was Duckley. Yep. What about 3 foot? Oh wait, that's just US. Will there be 2 foot stuff on this route? I doubt it. It would be nice, but if I'm gonna put in all the time to make a 3 foot gauge line, I might as well make that as its own separate route. Landhead? Maybe Landhead. I thought it might have been Landhead, but that sounds wrong a bit. Oh, you could do a rail tour session with one of my BRP2 repaints. Could do. Anyway, so now that you have gotten a bit of a tour of what I've currently built, minus pretty much all of the Easter eggs, let's get started. So I could do, like, the thing that I was doing previously before the stream was adding in the actual third rail splines, and I could continue doing that over here by these junctions, but that would be boring. So instead, let's figure out the land for this little peninsula where the town's gonna go, and where we're gonna put the tracks and the station and that fun stuff. So let's add some baseboards. I think that's going to be enough. So add baseboards, 5 meter grid. That's so nice, that feature. And let's switch back over to the classic surveyor because I want to add the water first, and then I'm going to carve the land down. Actually, should I use... I guess I could use the copy paste tool with the terrain feature selected for this area to speed this up a bit. There you go. Just like that. Because I'm using the classic water system here, not the water effects system. Like, the water effect system could be useful if you've got different kinds of water where you want different waves or different colors, but I've not got that here, so the classic system's fine for me. Right. Sorry, I'm gonna go play Minecraft. Gotta work on my ocean liners on my server. Bye-bye. Have fun. Bye-bye. Thanks for stopping by. Okay, so, done that. Now, actually, should I... Tell you what. To speed it up a bit, I'm going to texture this first. I'm just going to fill it in with a sand texture. And then I'm going to use the scrapbook to paint the regular grass over. Because with the regular grass texture here, it's 2 textures. It's the lighter one and then the bit of a darker one kind of dappled over it. I wanted to have that simulate the feeling of like clouds a little bit, or just variation, and it does add a lot even if you don't notice it that much. So that is a scrapbook asset I made, and we'll do that in a bit. But first, it's time to think about how I want this land to be shaped. Actually, can I do that from the map view? Oh yeah, look, you can actually edit the terrain from the map view now, because it still renders it as 3D terrain even if you're here. That's actually really useful. Okay, so the lines just come in here, and I do want the town to be built up on a little bit of a hill, because currently there's only, I think, like maybe 3 meters or something difference between the actual water level and the terrain, and that's not a whole, even if we assume that that's high, like maximum high tide, that's not going to be a whole lot in any sort of storm. So we're going to need a little bit of a hill. I do want a little port as well. And it might be so... Okay. Maybe it would be good to take inspiration from a town like Falmouth, for example, where the station's a little bit elevated, overlooking the port at the end of the land where it meets the ocean. And then maybe we could have some disused, like a disused junction where the tracks used to go down to the port as well. Cross-reference with the town RL? Maybe. Let's have a look. Let's have a look at what Falmouth looks like. Falmouth. Yep, pretty much how I remember Falmouth looking from orbit when I was last there. So let's see. Yeah, so yeah, you've got the train coming along here on the embankment, a little bit up on the hill, overlooking the port. So pretty much what I thought. Great Orme Tramway. On that now. Well, that's fun, but not something that would really fit here, I don't think. There's not enough space to really warrant something like this at this station. I know it isn't British, but you could also take a look at Norddijkmol. Let's have a look. Okay, so it looks like you've got the rail line coming in from over here. Comes through. Oh, I see. You've got... Actually, can I enable 3D view? 1 second. Globe view. So I can tilt the camera a bit. Okay, so it comes in. Then you've got what looks like sidings. A little bit of a switching yard. And then it comes around. Oh, I see. And you've kind of got the port around the station. Oh, that's really interesting. Oh, and you've got car ferry access here. Interesting. Look at all the people queuing to get onto the ferry. That's funny. Actually, that's a really nice idea. Did you take a look at the Glasgow network? I didn't yet. I'll do that before I go over to the more London-inspired area and before I start work on that. The trains get really close to the port there. That is nice, although it does mean that the train line won't be able to really go uphill as much. We'll see. Scarborough? Well, is that... Hold on. Go to new window, yes. Well, does Scarborough have a railway station there? I'm not sure. Linton Pier. It is made so that people can change from the train ferry to ferry with a short walking distance. Well, looks like it works. The sidings also have a station. Both get served by long distance trains. Ah, interesting. Train station close to ferry. Oh, right, this, yeah. Well, okay, so actually I'm gonna use a blue brush. Can you, hold on. Can you see that if I draw? Oh, that's too large. But yeah, you can kind of see that if I draw on here. So let's think about this. Because currently the lines the line went downhill from there. I mean, it still makes sense if it needs to cross over this low-lying area that it goes downhill quite a bit. So then, if we had the land kind of like this, maybe? Looks a bit like a knockoff of the Italy boot. No, let's have it. I think it would look better if it's kind of more pointy, and then we could have a lighthouse there. Something like that, I think, would look better. Maybe. Although I would like you to have a view of Oscombe from there. So Oscombe's over here. So in order for you to look past that, actually let's just zoom in and have a little look. Can't really see it from here yet because those cliffs are in the way. And you could call this the nearby town Gale Rock. Maybe have the station at the port elevated as a sort of flooding protection. Perhaps. The old station by Brixham was also right on top of the hill, pretty much. So what would this look like from over here? Because obviously, if I have the land coming out there so you can see Oscombe, then that will also impact the kind of the view you have as you exit out of Oscombe itself. So actually, no, I need to enable limit contextual. It would be so nice if you could bind a key to limit contextual information. So if you're here, you've just exited out of Oscombe, you look across, you can see, is it promontory? If the land comes out to a point, or it just sticks out, promontory? Promontory? Is that a word that describes that? Anyway, you've got the first one there, and they've got the second cliffs there, and then if the other town would be over there, then you would have to have the land coming out to around there, maybe. I think that would still look very nice. Promontory. It's a raised one as it projects into a lowland or a body of water, in which case it is a peninsula. Yeah, a headland. It is a headland. It's a type of promontory. Yeah, so headland and promontory are both words that describe what I wanted to describe. But in which case, it does have to go out a little bit more. Well, let's see. Because here you wouldn't be able to see it. So you'd kind of have to go. If you imagine a straight line being drawn from here across there, then you would have to go all the way down to here to really see over to Oscombe. Okay, so let's undo that, and let's kind of draw in where we want the end of the headland to be, kind of, which means it needs to be on this line pretty much. Actually, tell you what, I know a little trick. If I just put in a really big mound and then look from over here, what would that look like? Well, I can't really see it with a certain distance. Hold on. 10 kilometers. Actually, oh, that's just the... You can see it. It's just the terrain, the lodding on the terrain. So actually that... It doesn't actually have to be that far out, I don't think. Yeah, I think it could be a bit further inland. Let's have a look. If I'm here, looking across, let's undo this. If I'm here looking across, hold on. Yeah, but just increase the render distance a bit so I can actually see the houses. So you can kind of see the houses there. Is that going to be good enough, or would it be better if it were further on to the left? If I just have it sort of here. I think this might be a good place for it. Let's see, undo, undo. If I just kind of mark this with an X. Like so. Yeah, because if you imagine having the station at kind of like this height. Look over there. Yeah, that's really nice. You can see the town over there. And you can see the cliffs. You can even see the little color beach huts there. I think that's a good position. Because I do want the land to go out a little bit further to have a lighthouse. Probably. Would that work? Let's give it another little test with the height. 1 second, just sort of like that. Then back to over here. Yeah, that'll just stick out a little bit further than the other land, so it won't really impact the not skyline, the coastline view very much. But right, chat, sorry. Ooh, lighthouse, yes, please, yeah. And you could call a nearby town Gale Rock. Maybe have the station at the port elevate. Yes, already read that. Would love to take a train around these parts. Much needed scenery change from the bright lights of Peninsula. I can imagine, haha. Gosh, I never thought this much about line of sight when making Trainz routes. Yeah, well, it's something that I've only really started thinking about with the... Well, I started when I made the Coleman Mountains Railroad because of the mountainous nature of it. It kind of became a necessity with that because you could look so far. And then with the MVR, of course, a lot of mountainous stuff there as well, which, by the way, the MVR is submitted to the TCCP, the partnership program, and it's waiting for review by N3V currently, so good. Yeah, so just something to discover and to get used to with this, I guess. Love it. Oh, that's a perfect spot. Oh, I hope you guys remember Robin. You know Songbird of Peninsula? Not 100% sure what you mean, sorry. The beach huts, beach, yes, beach. Beach huts, in fact. Even... maybe a little look around Scarborough after all with a globe view, satellite view. So if it isn't seaside information. Well, maybe. Globe view. Right, so if, well, I mean, they've got a little bay and a little port at the end, but it doesn't look that unique when you know what a British seaside port looks like. Yeah. I can't see if she can come to the beach trip. Well, I mean, it's open for business. You can even get here by bus. You mentioned it before. Oh, right, yeah. You mentioned it before your unplanned break. Yeah. I do. It sounds familiar, but I don't really know the lore, and yeah. Oh, right, I remember. Yeah. Okay, so I think that's a good point for the station to be. Which means we're going to need some more baseboards, really. Hold on, 1 second. I need to fill in the terrain, and then I need to add the water on this bit. So there we go. Also, by the way, if there are any Mac users watching of TRS 22, I had a bug where it wouldn't show me any updates available. I was stuck on a previous service pack. And I think it was Real Hanswasser, who was in chat, who recommended that I switch to the beta branch on the launcher and then switch back to the regular branch. And that did the trick. It showed me the update, and I was able to update TRS-22. So if you have that issue, then, well, there you go. Right. So, actually, let's get the blue back. Is that the right brush width? I'll make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so if that is the station where the port is, then it would make sense. Well, the port is usually in a natural harbor, if possible, and or around the town center, which the town center might have just grown to where the port is because of traffic. So if we imagine that that's the station there, we can have it elevated a bit, but right by the port. It would be nice to have the... Ooh, that's a bit too wide. Is that going to be good? Yeah. So let's think about having the port kind of maybe like that. And then we can have the little headland there with the lighthouse, which does mean that we're going to probably end up with kind of a crescent shape there, which is fine. Be nice to maybe have a little bay, because that will make for some nice line of sight as well. Because if you imagine that you're here at the station, then you can see the coastline all the way down there, but then if you look across, you'll also see a little bit of a headland there, this little bay. Now, as for the tracks, I kind of like the idea of having the tracks a bit more up on a hill, just so you can have a good view of the ocean through some townhouses. Let's save and let's read chat. No 3D view. Pick of Scarborough with a huge castle thingy on the hill. The huge castle thingy. Ah, yes. Well, that does look very nice. Although, actually, that's interesting. It is an interesting idea to have the town a little bit more down by the shore, and then have a little wooded area above that. That would be interesting. Panorama view thingy. Oh, I see. That's just because it's so steep leading up to the castle. Well, we've already got a castle around here, which is Merfell Castle, which is up here, by the way. Yeah, that's Merfell Castle right there. It's got a bus stop, and there are horses. Yeah, and by the way, you've got such a great view from here. No wonder they picked this as a defensive point to build their castle. You look down there, you can see, you can see you can see that harbor. So if there's an enemy force trying to land there, you'd spot them. You'd sure spot them. You'd even have a great view of those harbors over there. Of course, of the whole shore there, the coastline. You can even look all the way over to Oscombe down there, and have a view of the whole valley to see if armies approach from beyond the hills. You can see them from miles and miles away. Although you might be able to sneak up behind that hill, although then you'd have to cross this valley and then climb up this steep slope to even have a chance of getting up to the castle. So, there you go. Right. Yes, that's me. And with a new song in the making. Nice. Several under band Mechanical Fever. I'm gonna collab with Robin for the album. I would hope so. Wouldn't be much of a songbird without any songs, would you? Ha ha. Yes. Make it a sharp S-curve, weaving through suburbs into downtown. 25 mile per hour speed limit. That's a nice idea. Yeah, because we could have kind of the main hill be here, and then another hill kind of coming down here with a little bit of a lower section in the middle, so that the track... actually, I can't. 1 second, cancel. So that the track maybe curves around here, through there, and then down to the station by the port. With maybe having one of the peaks be here maybe, and then the other peak being there. And then maybe another minor, well, we could maybe have a minor peak there, I don't know yet. That would also explain why the station is up on the hill by the port and not down by the water, because, well, you can't really get there otherwise, other than building a huge tunnel, which of course, if you're playing Transport Fever 2, that's totally doable, but otherwise maybe not so much. The lighthouse would be over there, probably, which would make sense, because, well, if this is the peak, then you would have view of the lighthouse probably from here onward. It might be obscured behind there. We'll see. But probably over here, on that peak. So that if you're by the station, you've just arrived, then ahead of you, you'd be able to see the lighthouse as the hill kind of goes up towards where the cliff, where the drop-off is. That's where the lighthouse is going to be. Because this is that cliff. I do want it to be quite tall, because that's the point you'll see from Oscom as well. If you put the town low to the shore, you could have a scenario where the storm is coming and you need to bring materials for flood protection walls to the station. Yeah, that's a nice idea. Wow, you'd practically see France from that tower. Sharais, do you still plan on having lore-making streams for this route? Probably not. Probably not. It was fun, and I love world building, all that sort of stuff, but I don't think it's really necessary for this route. I think it might just get in the way a bit with the format that I'm using for it now. But having more world building live, I think, is a great idea. Right. Footbridge, with a footbridge by the level crossing near the top of the hill. Who knows? Maybe. Yes. Okay, that was regard to the S bend. So lighthouse should be visible from east and west. True. I guess it would be visible if this is kind of a bit of a lower point there. So maybe the line goes uphill to this point and then goes back downhill to here. Then we could have this be a bit of a lower region and this be another peak, so that you could see the lighthouse from east and west. Is this the old half sandwich line? Old half sandwich line. Hello, Mr. Snipes. Welcome. Well, the line doesn't have a name yet, so who knows? Snipes, it's been such a long time. Hailing up. Good question. Well, the National Grid decided to pull a cheeky prank on us and take away our power. But we're back online now. Ah, right. Cheeky National Grid prank pulling so-and-sos. You must go now. Okay, well, have fun then. Yeah, you could have them actually appear at the end with bound layers. Yeah. Well, you wouldn't really have to use bound layers. You only use bound layers if you have something that's on one layer, like for mostly the root layer, and you want to disable it in a session, then you can put it in that session on a bound layer and disable that bound layer. So you can keep the objects on the root layer and on all the other sessions, but you just have them off for that one session. That's what a bound layer does. It's like if you can put it on another layer temporarily, so only on that thing. If you wanted to have the flood wall protection for a session, then I just put that on a session layer. Good evening. Best of luck with the world. Yes, best of luck with the world to you too. Hello, Willis 1961. Is this real or just a figment of my imagination? Yes. Also, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's Minecraft stream because shaders work. At least the coder shaders work. And I'm really looking forward to that. I know, haven't been on the computer much. I tore my ACL and fractured my knee early February. Oh no. So I've been deep into model building this winter since I couldn't do much else. Aww. Well, it's nice to have something like that to occupy the time with. Been such a long time. Right. I'm really sorry to hear that, yeah. We've had about a month of no streams because the computer broke. Yeah. But we're back, yes. Session layer, yeah. That's what you meant. Have you changed your clocks already? I decided to give myself an extra hour instead of take one. Those cheeky people in command cannot take away my time. It's mine. So I stole theirs. Well, that is commendable. Ankle. Oh, right, yeah. The Minecraft server appears to be having an issue. It has been starting for over 5 hours now. Oh? Well, maybe there's some maintenance going on. Is that my best friend Willis William 19,061? Ankle is a ligament and knee. It's one of 4 that holds it together. Yeah. Okay, bye-bye. Elisa? Yeah. Because I know Hans was going to update the prehistoric nature mods to the new versions on the today, this evening, so we'll see. I will need surgery in the future to fix it or else I will forever have a wobbly knee. Oh no! 1961. Okay, so normally, aka ordinarily, I would... The mod is updated, server is good to go. Nice. Although Willis said that the server has been starting for over 5 hours now. Is there maintenance going on, or is there an issue with the server, or it would not be fun to get tomorrow to say, okay, right, let's hop onto the server, we're all excited to finally play again, and then the server doesn't work. Right, so ordinarily I would now put in the water. So I would use the set height tool and just put in the water like that. However, because this is going to be quite hilly and there's going to be quite a bit of cliffs, the way to make cliffs is to put in a regular hill and then to carve away from the hill using the set height tool. And that's a lot easier to do if you put in the hills first. So let's put in the hills for... Actually, no. Let's put in the ground texture first. So, yeah, brush tool. I'm going to switch over to the scrapbook. And then if I go to, yeah, UK grass base. And then also something I'm really, really happy about. Look, you can have a 2 kilometer large brush. You can have, look at that. Although that's probably a bit much. But even just having like a 300 meter brush, that is so incredibly useful in most situations, except for now because I needed a smaller brush to paint this. But still, I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. Although let me just turn these things off because I don't need them. Right. So now, see, I'm just painting on this texture, and it keeps the pattern. I know that to people who've been using Tiers 22 for years, actually, is it years? I don't know when it came out. this is probably an old hat, metaphorically speaking. But to me, this is a still relatively new feature that I'm really happy about. Although I have noticed that sometimes it kind of misses a vertex and it doesn't it doesn't quite paint over that, even though I'm 100% sure that there wasn't any grid on the sample that I took. I did have the grid around it, but it wasn't anywhere within the selection, so. 961. The mod is updated. Right. I'll happily give it a try. Give it a shot. Wish you all the best of luck with that. Let me check that. We try connect. Error saying it's starting. So what's the mayor of Oscom been up to recently? Well, I don't know. Boating, maybe? Wanted to bring that up so we aren't surprised tomorrow. Yeah, good idea. Try now. Hans says, try now. Appreciate that precaution. Yeah, it gets textureless, featureless, stuck in its teeth sometimes, sadly. Since you're painting on sand, for the grid to appear, it has to be part of the scrapbook asset. Yeah, I know. If I, what I mean is, if I go over here, this is where I took the texture from. So I did have the grid around it, but I was very careful to, for example, you see these vertices here, so on the yellow line, these specific vertices there are the grass texture, and I'm sure that I took a span kind of like that, I think, definitely not including these vertices. And yet sometimes the grid does appear on it. So maybe I have to make another selection a little bit smaller so that it doesn't have that. But this was, I think, the first scrapbook asset I ever made, so yeah. Okay, able to successfully connect now. Still the Pumpkin Man footprints around the spawn point. They're not Pumpkin Man footprints, they are admin absent footprints. Absent admin even. Right. Maybe put more grass texture around it when creating it. Yeah. Since Japan, New Penzance mayor found a fond of mountain climbing and Oscom's fond of boating. Makes sense. Although, hold on. Look at that. I painted over this, and yet there was still a little bit of blue left there. Interesting. New Penzance's mayor... Alright. I think scrapbook takes the error slightly larger than marked. Piggy buggers, aren't they? You mean the mayors? Yes. Okay, so just paint that in, and I do sometimes, so you can kind of see a little bit of a repeating pattern, but if you start from a different position a little bit and then kind of paint on like that, you can break that up in addition to changing the rotation. And then I need to switch to a slightly smaller brush for this area here, kind of. Okay, so this is just rough. We're gonna update that at some point. New Penzance? Is that where the secret pirate camp is located? No, that's an old Penzance. Pirates of Penzance, I might say. All I know is I would like to see a street named Egg Roll Avenue, after one of my favorite appetizers. Well, we'll see what we can do. Nah, I think that'd be original Penzance, yeah. Okay, so just bringing that out here slightly. Right, on 5 meter grid, altering the rotation is still fine. I wish you luck when you use HD terrain for the first time. Yeah, I mean HD terrain, the first time I'm gonna use that is when people who don't have a Plus subscription can view it. Not necessarily, like if N3V made it so that people who've got regular TRS-22 can view HD terrain, then I would consider using it. But if I got a Plus subscription and then used HD Terrain, most people who either bought the route or downloaded it would just see it as 5-meter grid terrain, and then certain bits would look odd if it just downgrades it to 5-meter. So yeah. Anyway, let's terrain height map, of course. So actually, no, let's not do the height map yet. Let's actually lay the tracks first, because setting which grade I would like to use is probably important for that. So it's come slightly downhill from the valley. It's only at a height of about, what's that, about 3 meters-ish? Yeah. Tried it by putting blue water into a regular 22 install. It's mostly fine, actually. Yeah, like actually so I'll quickly load an example. 1 second. Because I've got some of Slovak Eagle's routes installed. Oh, by the way, the MVR with all its lovely photos, and you can see all the sessions here with all their lovely photos and things. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this releasing. Anyway, yeah, Eagle. This is Grundorf Lokalbahn, a route made by Slovak Eagle. It's on the DLS. You'll need the latest version of TRS-22 to download it. But since I'm running TRS-22 Platinum, if that wasn't obvious. But if you, every time I load this route, I'm so surprised at all the stuff that's fit into this one baseboard. I do plan on having some streams exploring this route and maybe multiplayer as well. That would be really fun. But if in regards to HD terrain, this was originally made with HD terrain, and in most areas it's fine. Although over here, for example, I think Slovak used HD terrain to bury the tracks underground so that it's... Actually, I'll disable the backdrop layer for a second. Yeah, so it's buried underground, but because it's downgraded it to 5-meter terrain for me, you can see the track bed kind of sticking through a bit. And the same thing I noticed over here, where... Actually, this isn't the exact spot, but there was a spot, yeah, here, where you can see the terrain kind of overflowing onto the tracks a bit, and then you can see half of the track floating a bit, because, of course, with HD terrain, this would look beautifully perfect, but since it downgraded it, you get issues like that. So, yeah, even if I had access to the 10-meter, the HD terrain, I wouldn't really use it yet until everybody could properly view it, even if they've just got a regular 22 game. Anyway, so this map is so much fun to look around. Like, for example, just look at this tiny village down here. It looks so small, like we can't really, there's probably not much there, but then you actually go down into it and look at how much detail there is, how many little scenes and corners, and this is such a beautiful map. Oh, you even decided to put in the ridiculously high poly bird bath, isn't it? Unpause it. Okay. I keep forgetting that that's a thing. Oh yeah, because of the water effects and the bird sounds, yeah. This is very nice. But anyway, this is just a little preview. You can download the map yourself if you've got TRS-22. But yeah, I'm gonna have a proper look at it, maybe in a multiplayer stream or something like that. But yeah, Grundorf Lokalbahn, single baseboard challenge. Anyway, now let's get back to my route. And yeah, the route name is still Third Rail Network Test. It's just because it originally started as a test, but then I thought, well, I might as well expand this. Anyway, I'm still just surprised by how quickly that loads now. Actually, it looks like a bit like a lobster claw, like a crab claw a bit. Right, chat. Old Penzance. Although the E at the end of old, or other words like ye olde tavern, would just be pronounced the old tavern, because ye, the Y, is a replacement for the, because originally there was a letter for a TH sound, but then that got removed suddenly. Like it was decided this letter no longer exists, so then people said, well, how do we write it now? And so they instead wrote it with a Y, but it was still pronounced the. So it'd be the, and then oldie, I think the E might be silent as well, but don't quote me on that. Anyway, I tried it by putting blue or red. It's only very high detail areas where you lose lots of quality. You stealing my ideas, huh? No. 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 Alifgar Balach. There's no root section. In the root section's mine. Yes, that's Kango's route that he's been working on. It's a really cool looking map. I agree. And Slovak Eagle's map is cool looking too. Too bad that you can't use Fix on Max. Put a lot of effort into that. Max. Yep. Although TurfFX is going to be replaced with Clutter 2.0 at some point as well, I think. For which Eagle still owes me a favor. Blech. Finish your route, then you get your catenary hands. Oh well, in 10 years. Viaduct clock was my idea. So insane. The best way possible. Share dice, unpause it. Yeah, I'm used to not unpausing it because I was making loads of sessions for the MVR and don't really want that messing stuff up. I don't think 22 will ever get the option to use HD Train at full detail. Next Trainz release will probably support it at full detail always, but 22 will be stuck at what it has. Yeah, well, okay. Well, then I might use it when people who've got the currently most up-to-date regular version of the game can view it. And I've also got access to it. Lobster Point Lighthouse. Maybe not. I thought the Y came from the calligraphy of that letter. Well, maybe. I can't cite any sources, so perhaps. I just remember either reading or hearing that somewhere about that because it, like, ye sounded a bit like the, and so I think that's where that came from, but maybe I'm wrong. Yeah. I thought the letter for the was like a double-sided P. Like a lowercase p and q stuck together. Anyway, what was... Alright, I was building tracks. So... But either side is both derived from the same story. Okay, let's see. Let's try... If I put in a grade of 1%, I think that's probably going to be a little bit too little here. How far was I... am I able to get up? If I did take this to over here, and have a somewhat tight curve, and then have it come in for the harbor, maybe here, like that, ish. Yeah, so this is just going uphill, which isn't what I wanted. Like, this height is probably close to what would look really nice, although it would be tricky having the harbor there, especially if you want to have a connection with a rail. Especially if you wanted to have a little freight connection or something, that'd be really tricky. Sounds like you're describing phi? Oh, maybe. Although, hold on. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't know. Right. So, okay, I wanted it to go uphill on both sides. So if I take this point, move that down a bit to sort of the height that I wanted, now that we know that we can reach that height. If we say maybe around there, although, is that going to be a good height? I think that's probably going to be an okay height. That's around 14 3/4 meters height. Actually, tell you what, let's put a cottage next to it for reference. It's so nice to have preview images as well. So just put a little cottage house there for reference in regards to height. Let's use this for now, because I did want the terrain, I didn't want it to go up and then down again on the other side. So if I'll just, let's see, what height is that? 14.68. So 14.68 there. So this bit is straight, which is going to have probably the platform on it or something like that. A cottage for scale. Yes. Okay, so can I make this? Nope. Actually, here's a question. So with the old grade system, I was able, like with the old grade system, actually let me tell you what I mean. Yeah, there was a motorcycle outside. If I put in like a grade of, no, that's not grade, that's grade. If I put like a ridiculous grade of 15%, with the old grade system, which side of a spline I clicked on would determine which way it slopes. So if I click on the left side, you can see it slopes up to the right. If I click on the right side, it slopes up to the left. But with Surveyor 2.0, if I select this and I put in a grade of 15%, it puts it up on the right. Now I know that you've got kind of a little dot in the middle, which is where you've kind of selected the whole section. So if I put that on the left side there, then put in a grade of 15%, puts it up to the right. But if I put the dot over on that side, put it up to 15%, it still puts it up on the right. So is there a way to determine, to basically tell the game, no, I want this spline to go uphill from this point, like with the other system? Or how does that work with Surveyor 2.0? I think if you want the grade to go the other way in Surveyor 2.0, you need to enter negative 15%. Well, if I enter negative 15%, then it just goes downhill. But the point is, either way, it's this spline point that stays at the same height. So if I put in 15%, that stays at the same height. If I put in negative 15%, it stays at the same height. But I want this spline point to stay at the same height and go the other way. Is that a thing that's just not possible in Surveyor 2.0 at this time? Because there certainly are a few other things that aren't possible in 2.0 at this time. Gradient in Surveyor 2.0 is determined on direction of placement. So there's no way of doing it then. Okay, well that's the sort of thing that's a severe downgrade. There are a few others, but at least you can switch between the two, and that will always be the case, and they're never going to come out with a Trainz game that won't have Surveyor Classic packaged with it, right? Right? I think Surveyor 2.0 is tied to the source node of the spline. Nope, can't turn it around without placing tracks. Around without replacing. Anyway, so grade. Let's try. I would really like this section to come in quite steep. So let's try something. Actually, let's put a spline point in there, ish. And then let's try something like 2%. Because this is going to be a little bit of a tricky thing, because you're going to come uphill all this way, and there's going to be this short little steep downhill right into the platform with buffers at the end. Okay, so 2% up like that. If we put 2% up like that, where would we have the... So if we have the peak kind of there in this turn, so if we've got this one going up by 2%, then reduce it down to maybe 1% for this section, and then maybe 0.5% on that section. And then if we have this section be, so if we have that node be the one where it changes, let's try something like -1%. And then we're going to need to come down a bit steeper. Let's try something like -2. Is that... Okay, so that means it would have to change, start changing grade from about there. What sort of grade does this have currently? Well, 2.57, but that's a long spline, so that's not very accurate. If I split it into several smaller splines, then get the grade. 1.9, 3.09, 2.9, well, let's see, 2.5. How would that work? No, -2.5, obviously. -2.5. Okay, like that, and then what height would that have? -2.67. Actually, nah, that's a little bit too steep. If I make this one be 2.5 and then have it go the other way around, so that one be 2.5, that one be 2.5, and then this one would be a little bit steeper. 2.74, 2, 1, and then -0.5, -1, -2, and then it goes down from -2 into here. I think that sounds like a nice kind of grade, even if the actual placement of the nodes isn't exact. It sounds like a nice sort of grade, I think. Also, I haven't showed you this yet, this is my work in progress class 465. Now, it's fictionalized slightly. I'm not recreating it 100% because there are different variants of it. It's based off of it. It is fictionalized slightly. So also I haven't even started making the coach yet. It's only the power car that I've currently got. This is the first train that I've ever made for Trainz. So still work in progress, of course. Also, the Hello World rail is still, it's just a temporary livery thing to put on there. Yeah. You've got controls in there. Which, by the way, at the moment is still, there's just solid colors over on the side, but yeah. Right. The reason why I said that now was because I wanted to have a look at the grades from the in-game menu. Let me quickly save. Also, the sounds are the ones from the DLS. They are the best ones I could find. They're not ideal, mainly because of the loud idling sound, which you probably can hear now. It's, in fact, is it too loud? Do I need to turn down the Trainz game? Or what, is that too loud, too quiet? Probably not too quiet. By the way, from a bit too loud, yeah, okay. Because I'm just gonna turn Trainz down by 20% maybe. So this is what the inside of the cab currently looks like. So the speedometer works. This over here isn't finished yet. That's the... Because I can't really make the brakes how they would be on the real thing, this is the brake cylinder and flow. Yeah, the brake cylinder and the flow... Wait, no, not flow. I'm not sure what the other one is. I'd have to have a look. But yeah, it is useful, because the brake cylinder tells you how much the brakes are actually applied. But yeah. Okay, also the reversers there works. And I set it to have a combined brake throttle lever. So that... Oh, I've put it in reverse. Yeah, so that does work. And I was really happy when I got the speedometer to actually work. Okay. And I put it on the wrong line. Although I can, if I go into this, just gonna put it over on the other side. Okay. So yeah, I didn't really do much any other modeling over here yet. And you can see that the vague shape of stuff is the same, but if you actually look a bit closer, it is a bit different than the real thing. I do have different camera angles though, in different positions throughout the vehicle. So, yeah. Why is it so quiet? That's odd. Train. Why doesn't it have any sound? That's weird. But yeah, if you look at the grade down there, that's kind of what it looks like. That's really weird that it doesn't have any sound. Why? Hold on, I'll exit out. I'll put it over in the surveyor. I'll reach out in a bit. Oops. I keep trying to press escape to exit the session. There we go. Yeah, so these are the sounds from the DLS. They're not ideal, but at the moment I don't have anything better. Also, because I have no idea how to do the head code thing, especially with the AI that just has its lights on all the time, I decided to just put both lights on. Okay, so we're slightly on an uphill here, 0.6 something %. Then it goes to the stronger uphill, 3.18, 3.32. Because I was staying at 3.32%, which is odd, considering that, if I recall, I only put in 2.5% on this stretch, didn't I? Which I realized you can't see because it's behind my face cam. .7. Okay, when we reach the top here, it starts going downhill on this bit. Okay, and we'd of course have a lower speed limit on this bit already as well. But this layout isn't meant to be permanent, it's just to get a rough idea for what sort of heights we can work with. Let me have another look in Surveyor at the grade there, because in-game it said it was above 3%, even though I'm pretty sure I put it at like 2.5% or something, going up here. Yeah, look, gradient value 2.5. That's for this first bit, and for this bit, still 2.5. For this bit, 2.74. Even though the in-game, the driver says that's much steeper, which isn't ideal. Although I think it's great. I think it'll work great like that. Right, yes. Pretty sure if they remove Classic Surveyor now, they will cause a player riot. Yep. Echoed his voice in the ominously large, dark, slate-grey chambers. No! In reply, only a deep growl came back. N3V, is that you? To put it lightly, yeah. I'm just picturing an angry chipmunk staring at the devs through a window to keep them in check. Yeah, I mean, Alvin has to have some sort of occupation, I suppose. Sounds about right, except for singing, of course. It's incredible, bogies aren't yours, right? No, the bogies are from the DLS as well. Not modified, neither is the sound, they're just referenced. Tab it out, fine now, okay, good. By the way, Shardice, did you see the finished BVR repaint for the 1099 that I posted on Kango server? I did not, no. You can ping me on Discord if you would like me to have a look at that. It sounds like an industrial paper shredder. Well, the motors on those, like the original motors, that they did have that kind of stepped sound, but in the recordings used for the engine sound that I referenced there, for the asset, the volumes aren't mixed ideally, and there's a lot of background noise as well, because it was probably, well, most definitely recorded from inside an actual carriage, not next to the motors. So to get something better, I'd either have to use a more generic electric sound that's not specifically from the 465, or I'd have to record my own sounds from a 465 that has those motors still, but I'm not sure if they're even in service anymore, or if they were replaced with the newer motors that don't make that sound. No way, Screech, bonk. Sorry, I'll send you the bill in the morning. Yeah, left path traffic. Respawn it. Yeah. Share this. Controls and lights can be monitored by a script. Remember, you are part of a server that is willing to help you out with stuff. Yeah, and I'm really grateful for that. And I have needed that and made use of it, even getting this far. But, I mean, this is still really work in progress. Once I've kind of finished modeling and texturing stuff in the cab, and once I've made the coach, which is going to be another big thing, then I might look into improving that with the actual head coats and stuff like that. Also, it doesn't have a coupler yet, so it just smiles really happily. Yeah. Ping you, feel free to share it on stream if you want. Okay, in that case, I'm quickly going to go to paused just to make sure Discord doesn't show anything that I don't want it to show. Right. There we are. Ooh, here we go. First BVR local repaint is finished with 10 different number variations. Ooh, actually I'm gonna really switch it to full screen just so I can zoom in. Oh, that looks nice. Reminds me of those I forget what the livery is called. The blue and white one for the German passenger stuff is called Mint. DB Mint livery or something like that. It's of course not that livery, but it kind of reminds me of it a bit. Come on. Very nice. Nice. Ooh, although I do have a little... Although I suppose with these being electrics, that's not really a thing. Because when I did repaints for the MVR locos on the vent, like the vents, I painted them with a transparent, soft black or dark brown brush to kind of simulate a bit of dirt and grime and soot from, well, maybe not soot, but the use of it. Although if this is an electric, I'm not sure that there'd be much stuff that would dirty the vents. Very nice. I also like that there's one of those old electrics with coupling rods. Do you already have permission to distribute these if you intend to distribute these repaints? Or is that something you have yet to acquire? Right. Industrial paper shredder was referring to the 465 idling, yeah, before it got going. External idle volume, yeah. Like, it should be silent with an electric, with the exception of maybe ventilation or something like that. But there should be no sound, and instead its idling sound is the loudest it ever gets. Oh, and a white unit number, please. Yeah, having scriptable unit number would also be great, and destination boards, and a whole lot of other stuff. Oh yes, switchback, thank you. Changeable like marquees 153s. Windgrün, I think. What's DB? Ost, Ozeanblau. You don't get that kind of dirt on electrics. I know, I drive electric locos RL. Yeah. It was just something I put on my diesels, because on diesels, we have that sort of stuff. Euromodelers, as far as I know, got permission quite a while ago. Okay. Well, that's good then. I actually have permission for all the stuff I want to use except one, which is a diesel rail car where the author doesn't seem to be around anymore. Although I have, with some of the MVR reskins, when I asked for permissions, I only got some responses a couple weeks ago, I think, and that was months and months ago that I asked. As an email address is dead, a website is dead, nobody knows him. With the length of that to-do list, it's safe to say that this is still in an alpha state. Well, I mean, I could release it as is, although I have a feeling Zek might fail it. Although the train itself will be freeware on the DLS. And yes, you will be able to make repaints and share them on the DLS as long as you give credit. I'm going to put that in the asset description just to make it absolutely clear. Yeah, but the train itself will be free. The route will not be. Yeah, the dynamic universe of Decius plays recommend getting in touch with Marky. Yeah, at some point I will do that. Clem 1952 has sadly passed away. Same with Euromodeler. Now who I'm referring to, or not who I'm referring to? Want to make Dr. Pepper livered one? Go right ahead, as long as you reference the original. Right, so let's just say we're happy with this grade. Which is a bit of a lie, but no, no, it's fine. Now, let's actually get to some height map building. I've just realized we've only got like 15 minutes left of the stream. But the good thing is that... wait, what was the good thing? There is no good thing. No, there is a good thing. The good thing is that this route will not be built exclusively on stream. So the next time you see this route, either on Discord screenshots or next Sunday, AD, there will be a lot of progress already made, and you'll be able to see maybe probably this entire town finished, and maybe another area down there. Who knows? Because this is the project that I'm of course focusing on and spending most of my time building. So yeah, hopefully a lot of progress will be made by then. Okay, and I'm just gonna elevate this a bit. And I'm not worried about the edge of the baseboard there too much currently, since that'll be water already. Well, yeah. Okay, so then we increase the height over here and have that be one of the literal high points of this area. I'm gonna need to raise this up. A bit more there as well. Not too much down by the bay, of course, because, well, it's a bay. You wouldn't really have tall cliffs there. And then this needs to kind of come up like that, sort of. How does that hill look? It looks okay, but I need to fix some bits. And then if that's the tallest point there, then I want this other hill to come up. And see now, now that I'm seeing this with this hill up here and the hill on the other side, I'm already picturing like having a road bridge going over the top of the tracks there. Maybe even having a small cutting at the peak. I think that would look nice. Okay, so just bringing that out slightly more. And then I'm going to bring it all the way down to there. And actually, now that I'm looking at the difference between how hilly this bit is, the peninsula, and how low this bit here is, maybe I can make this a little bit more kind of a marshy wetland, like I did over on this area where they built this road dam to protect the valley from flooding. That might look nice. Okay, so if I just pull that forward a slight bit more. Actually, I think that looks reasonable. Reasonable. Then pull that up a little bit, like so. I'll save, and then as a test, I'm going to draw in the water, just to see what it would look like with the cliffs, like how the terrain would work. So if I just kind of carve away over here. Oh, that's some really tall cliffs over on that side with how I've currently got it. And then kind of around there-ish. Yeah, that's not going to work great for the visibility of the lighthouse. And then just sort of around here. And then back onto there. And actually, so that the water updates, you've kind of got to paint onto it a little bit more first, like so. Okay, so... that's not quite right there. Okay. Let's have a look. How would that feel? So we've just come around here, going downhill slightly, and then cut across here, you'd see tall cliffs on that side, which is good. And then you'd start climbing up here. Actually, hold on. Might as well do that, especially since this is only going to be temporary anyway, just to see what this is like. Remember, I saved before, I can just exit without saving. So cut across here. Then I'm going to start climbing up. This is probably... Yeah, I don't want the cutting to start here. I want there to be a little bit of a valley to the right and then maybe go uphill slightly again. I don't want it to be at the lowest point here yet. Where the line reaches its summit, around there, that's where I want the cutting. And then you come back out and you can see the bay here with the cliffs there, which does look really nice, although from here, which way's... Okay, so to the right, okay, so that's east and that's west. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to see the lighthouse from here. Well, actually, I'm just gonna go out without saving, edit, go back in. Much easier than undoing. Okay, so gonna need to lower this a bit. That's a bit too much, hold on. Let me go into Surveyor 2.0. Not that you would have the power to stop me anyway. Muahahaha. Let's do 150. No, that's too large. Let's try 80 meters. Yeah, that seems reasonable. Height down. Also, this may actually height up first, because I think this just needs to be a little bit higher up as well. Just sort of like that, maybe? Which would then, of course, reduce the amount of reduction that I need on the other side. Actually, let's save it like this and then see what the cliffs would look like with that increase in height. Okay, and then actually I need to set it to -4 if I want to get any water. Although this is also a nice addition that you can actually paint at the edge with the mouse over the edge of the baseboard, which wasn't the case in previous Trainz versions. Well, not all of them anyway. Okay, so just sort of like that. There's some pretty tall cliffs, but that's okay. How does that feel? Actually, yeah, that looks really nice. So then, how would that impact the tracks there? Actually, that's the height that I wanted to have them at anyway. Yeah, this is sort of what I was picturing, with the line kind of ending here and then a little bit of a hill up to where the lighthouse would be placed there. Actually, do I have any lighthouse asset installed? Hold on. That's a lighthouse asset. I'm not sure that that's the lighthouse asset I would actually want to use. Although it is a nice lighthouse. Not sure it's the one that I actually would want to use, but we'll see. So if I, just to have a look at the height. So if I'm that height, then this hill is slightly in the way. Although height-wise, I think that location for the lighthouse is good, height-wise. I think this little hill here. Okay, so we need to lower this hill slightly, and then lower this hill slightly because I want to have the line rise up along the edge, along the side of a hill, and then go into a brief cutting, and then come out on the other side of a hill here. Okay, so exit surveyor, actually chat read time. I'm referring to Vladimir Stefan, Trainz username Stefan. Oh, right. His website is offline, and if you write to his email address, you get the mail returned from the provider with a note that the address doesn't exist. Special occasion run over time. Maybe a little, we'll see. I'm still amazed one was built only on stream. Yeah. Although that does need a little asterisk, because, of course, all of the update work was done off-stream, and also a tiny little disused connection was built off-stream, but yeah. I've asked around and nobody seems to know, so I'm currently looking for alternative second use. 1.5 combo, plus 1 hour. No! Not... Garrett Cobblepot's chicken farm used to be there till the wind blew it away in a storm about 70 years ago. Ooh. That's some interesting lore. So fascinating to watch all this development live. It's turning out very lovely. Thank you. Right. So we just lower that hill a little bit. A little bit more, just sort of here. Then that's a little bit too steep, so this needs to be lowered ever so slightly. Just sort of like that. Yeah, now if I had a lighthouse here, you could see it from quite a lot further away from the west as well. Okay. Save. Overwrite, yes. That's why that section of track is called the chicken run. Oh yes, I've heard of the chickens. The chickens visited Oz that night. I've heard the chickens visited Oz that night. Aha! Chicken Run, yes. I've not seen that film. It looks like, style-wise, it looks like Wallace and Gromit. Is it by the same authors? Or is it a spin-off? Or is it completely unrelated? Yes, some nice bluffs. Yeah, it's good. It's so good. Honestly, I love it so much. So good and well thought out. Thank you. Honestly, it's wonderful. Light Heis. That's the one I used on Gerbalach. That's probably why I've got it installed. That's why you've got it. Yeah. Imported it yesterday. SAP objects do not have LODs. Use sparingly. Yes, I remember from replacing loads of them on the MVR. Fun. Shadows, will you have similar ones to these running up to the lighthouse? Are there Trainz assets for these? Or similar ones of these? Maybe also First Hants and Dorset 501-esque Weymouth to bottom bill? Who knows? Same guys that are behind Wallace and Gromit. And the Shaun the Sheep spin-off. Nice. Think so. Yeah, maybe, if there are some good assets, or maybe if you make an asset, then I would definitely use it. So, okay, save. I'm gonna give it, well, actually, I'm gonna see what the cliffs look like now, and then I'm gonna edit that little bit over behind that hill where I wanted the valley a little bit, and I think then we're gonna call it a day for tonight. Although, if you want updates on how this is progressing before Sunday, if you don't want to wait a whole week to see the progress, well, then just have a look on Discord. Also, I know that I said that I wanted to do the update videos, like the building time-lapse videos, and I might still do that. Although it depends on how much time I have. We'll see. Because it would really still be quite nice to do that. But we'll see once I get back into things properly. Okay. So just carve that out. Just sort of like that. Okay, that still looks really nice. If I look that way. These cliffs, I don't know, how high are these cliffs? About 25 meters. Well, actually, that's not the highest point. Well, about 29 meters. That seems quite high. I don't know, does that seem too high to you, Kango? Or anybody else watching? Around 30-ish meters for a cliff? Because that seems, like, if you just look down there, that seems really high, doesn't it? Hold on, wasn't there a... Isn't there a tool on Google on Google Maps where, not MPS, hold on, Maps, where you can see the height of cliffs? Like if we went over to Dover, for example. Actually, no, I want the Bing maps for this. Reject, set it to Ordnance Survey, reload, 1 second. Let's have a look. Are these the White Cliffs? I'm guessing these are the White Cliffs. Okay. So actually, that's 100 and... So, well, it's around 100 feet there. 110 feet. So that would actually be around 30-ish meters then there. I think. What's the conversion from meters to feet again? Hold on. I always forget this. Okay, so if we set around 100... actually, why am I... No, that's feet. Sorry. My mistake. I got it the wrong way around. It's not 100 meters. Yeah, that's around 30 meters. 33.5 meters to be specifically precise. Because it's not exactly 3 feet to a meter. It's 3.35, I think. Okay, so that's probably fine then. Let's have a look. I'll have a scour through when you need... Alright, for the buses. Customer route plans, true. You gotta give it a really long name for it to work, but still. Let's have a look. These look really nice. Yeah, Queen Mary. Yeah, I mean, that is certainly something that would be really nice to do. All 3 Queen Mary. Looks okay to me. I like it, yeah. Cliffs are tall. Yes. I still remember seeing assets in the DLS for a Planet Mars themed railway. I've never seen that actual route, however, if it was ever released or not. Yeah, the Mars assets, there are so many of them, but I've never seen the route either. Don't you want Google Maps? Bing doesn't have Pedro's expertise. Yeah. Those are meters. It's roughly pi times, right? Oh wait, it is meters? Oh wow, then that's a lot taller than I thought it was. reaches a height of 350 feet, 110 meters. Wow. Hold on. If I put 110 meters in, that's this tall. That's how tall the White Cliffs of Dover are. Oh, wow. I mean, there is a bit of a difference, isn't there? If you look at my cliffs, and then those... Yeah, that... Okay. So, probably not too tall then, these ones. Okay, well... Let's just quickly have a look and fix that little valley, and then we'll call it there for today. So, over here, go back into Surveyor 2.0. It would be so nice if there was a keyboard shortcut to switch between Surveyor 2.0 and Classic, because I use that so much. Okay, so let's see, up to where? I want the valley to get reached roughly up to there. So just kind of excavate the line. And then a little bit of a larger brush, maybe 75 meters-ish. Just to get a little bit more of a gradual groove. And then maybe up to there. Maybe that's good. How does that look? A little bit too steep, especially if I want to have some houses on there. Sort of like that. Yeah, that's what I was looking for. So you come along here, and then you start climbing up the side of this little valley so that you can actually see yourself gaining height. Pull up, terrain, pull up, follow tracks. And then a little bit more like that, maybe. Just sort of like that. Okay. So, right, so that's a little... Well, actually, we might have some trees on that little steep bit there. That might look really nice. Okay, so if this climbs up here, then you can see the height you're gaining as... Oh, especially if you're coming down that way. Oh, that looks so steep. If you look down this way, as you're curving around, seeing how far down you need to get still, that looks really steep. That's going to be a lot of fun. Right, so then you come in here, go through the cutting, and then probably I need to excavate here slightly, because I don't want the cutting to be too long, maybe just around that long. Hold on, where's the actual line? Oh, it is there. I lost my line, no! Right, so just kind of dig away here a bit. Okay, so that's where it comes out. And comes downhill. Yeah, and then it's kind of hugging the hill on the other side. Just sort of like that. Okay. Right, so I've just saved. I should just save again. So I've just saved. So now let's apply the... Ooh, that's too far. Actually, I'm going to do it in Surveyor Classic. It's easier. I'm just going to basically apply the terrain to the tracks just to get a feeling for what that looks like now. Sort of like that. How does that feel? So, start here, coming along, slowly climb up, probably going to bring that edge a bit closer on both sides. Coming through the cutting here, and then you come out and then cross downhill there. Also, this is one thing. I did report to N3V, but they haven't fixed it yet, which is in TRS-22. By the way, I am happy with that. The camera seems to have this huge collider around it. Like, for example, here with this cutting, in previous versions of Trainz, I could just fly the camera through, like down here like that, without issue. But in this version, look, the camera gets pushed up out onto this height, even though the terrain is this far away. Do you see that? I can't get the camera down into the terrain, just pushes it up. I reported it as a bug, but they've not fixed it. Yeah. See? This is roughly where the collider is. Do you see? That just seems so buggy to me. I seriously hope that's not an intended feature, because that makes making cuttings and canyons and stuff like that really hard. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much what I've got planned for today, and I'm really happy with how it's turning out, and you'll get updates pretty soon. So now I'm just gonna get a nice shot, and yeah, I'm gonna get a thumbnail, of course, with a train on it, and then I'm not going to save when I exit, because that's not something I want to save back there. Can I turn on the lights on this one? No, but I can just put those in an image editor. I wonder, is that going to be a nice... Actually, I'm going to reduce the render distance slightly so we don't get the edge of the other baseboard on there. That's still going to be a bit too much. This is a bit too far. I have to reduce... Oh, I actually can't reduce it that far. Okay, well, in that case... Yeah, because I'm talking about this grey edge over there that I don't really like. Although, maybe something like that. Does that look good as a thumbnail, maybe? I'm sure that'll be fine. Okay, so I'm actually gonna... Can I hide the... There we go, fly camera. I'm gonna take a screenshot. Yeah, that looks quite nice. Although, I do think I'm gonna slightly turn a bit. Maybe just slightly lower field of view. Although I do like the high field of view. Try that. I think that'll probably be fine. And if not, I can take more. Right, chat. Right. Yeah, it should be tab. Yeah, you could read more of those tomorrow. True. Would be so clever. Also, again, Kangafango, I need to apologize. I'm replying. Got home really late last night, feeling shattered, didn't write back. Plan to write back shortly after the stream. All goes to plan. In Exmo, there are apparently even taller cliffs. Hangman Cliffs, 800 feet, 244 meters. Yeah, those are tall. Although here they aren't sheer drop-offs. It's a bit of a more gradual, like a slightly less steep. Actually, let's have a look. Maybe there I can find more pictures. Yeah, it isn't... Well, here it's fairly steep, but on the other image here, this bit isn't that. Like, you can see there's a bit of a diagonal, and then it cuts to just sheer rock. The actual part of it that's just sheer rock isn't actually that tall. Well, it's probably still more than... Well, yeah, that's 200 and something, then that's probably like, I don't know, 100 or 80 meters or something like that. But yeah. Interesting. If not after midnight, as I need to read thread rotations, I forget otherwise. Don't worry about it, okay. Yeah. You should put quarries around too. Yes, I've thought of that as well. One thing you could do with the grade, something I've seen RL, is have a higher speed limit going uphill and a lower one downhill. That is an interesting thought. Yeah, might implement that. Thanks for the idea. I hate leaving people for long periods of time, but every time I'm ready to write, sat back, something keeps popping up. Yeah, it was a lot different when you had paper letters. You received a letter, you read it, and it might have been a day or two, or maybe a few months if you lived on the other side of the world, to one-way journey, so you had plenty of time. How many cliffs are apparently the highest cliffs in England? Interesting. But if I don't reply tonight, I'll owe you something. On the Erkrateberg, near Düsseldorf, 3.3% grade sustained for several kilometers. You are allowed to go up at 140 kilometers per hour, but down only at 100. Interesting. After the trench. Great work today, Shreddies. Aw, thank you. And really wonderful to finally be back to streams. Yes. And I'm really looking forward to tomorrow as well with Minecraft. Apart from its impact on my walking schedule, yeah, I was sorry to hear about that because, like, walks are important, and especially in the evening, it can be nice if you wouldn't rather sit at home cozy. But yeah, I'm sorry about that, but there's really not much I can do. Otherwise, very, very happy. Honestly, you really don't. What? I really appreciate the thought, and I honestly don't mind at all. Okay. But I agree. Been so long since I've had the chat too. Yeah, mostly open to TMC. Yeah. Tallest point isn't where the sheer drop begins, but just imagine if it was. Yeah. I've been getting back into CBM recently. Playing properly without cheats this time. It's a game that either of you consider playing streaming sometime if money time permits. What is CBM again? Could you remind me? Oh, is it City Bus Manager? Is that the one where you design the depot and then you buy your individual buses and put liveries on them and stuff like that? Is that the one you mean? Yeah, so I'm playing it. And right, I'm going to just speed up reading slightly because we've gone 20 minutes over time already. Don't stream. Don't. If it ever gets multiplayer, which I doubt do hope for, we definitely have to play it together. Yeah. City Bus Manager, yes. Game received an update. Lost the save, unfortunately. Oh. Well, here we are. The end of a stream, the start of a new era in regards to Trainz. So yeah. Yep, it didn't delete saves for me. Sums up things up. Yeah, okay. Just into a new era. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. This will be uploaded to YouTube, of course. It'll be archived there. And yeah, if you want updates, I might be doing those update videos, but I'll definitely be posting updates on Discord. And thank you all for being in chat. It's always nice to have a lively chat, even if it gets in the way of building a bit, but that won't be as much of an issue because this map is mainly going to be built off stream, so we've got time for more chat reading during streams. So yeah, I guess that's it. To see here you again. Oh, thank you. 465 dev stream next week? No, probably not, because there are so many unexpected issues that are not very well explained with making Trainz assets, and I've practically no experience in it, so it's not something that I would like to do on stream, at least not until I've actually got proper experience in it. We need Kango Manning Sim Copter 1. Eye in the Sky reports. Yeah. Well, good night everybody, and bye-bye.